Let's go live now to Sydney. I'm joined by Liberal Senator Andrew Bragg. Thanks so much for your time. You've argued, first of all, if we look at the case for or against stage 3, fundamentally your look at this is that it's wrong to suggest it's just a tax cut for the wealthy, Senator.
Well, the last thing the country needs is a big tax slug. Middle income earners on big mortgages in places like Sydney are already facing very difficult conditions, and so an increase in their taxation, which is what any remaking of the stage 3 tax cuts would be a disaster.
So it is applicable to everyone earning upwards of $45,000 a year. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, so someone on $80,000 a year would be looking at a tax cut under the current legislation of about $1,000 a year. Last time I looked, someone on $70,000 or $80,000 wasn't a super rich cigar chomping person. So it does hit the middle income cohort, but it also, of course, hits the perhaps less fashionable higher income brackets, which the reality is, if we want to try and attract skilled labour into the country, we need to be running a competitive tax system.
Are you encouraged by some of the message that we've heard from Labor MPs today? Mike Freelander, speaking to Ashley Gillen, my colleague, in the last couple of hours, said that someone on $120,000 a year in Sydney is not rich, shouldn't be seen as such, and that the government should honour its pre-election commitment to deliver these legislated cuts.
Well, I welcome the outbreak of free speech in the Labor Party. I must say it's very rare to see Labor colleagues come out and break ranks, but I think it does indicate that there is a strong connection from people like Mike Freelander, who's a very good person, with his community. People in places like Camden and Campbelltown, I expect would be very, very negative towards Mr Freelander and his party if the government were to drop their promised tax cuts, because of course people who are earning $80,000 or $100,000 a year would be hit.
Do you think there's a comparison, though, if you look to the events in the UK where there was that huge volatility off the back of the Truss government's mini budget? Is there a tale, a cautionary tale in that for the upcoming budget here?
Well, I think we have to send the right message to the market that the country's open for business, that long legislated promised tax cuts, tax relief is going to flow through, not just to middle income earners who are going to see the end of bracket creep, which has been a great scourge for many decades, but also, as I say, that I know it's not fashionable, Kieran, but we are competing for labour on global markets. We've just had a huge skills summit in Canberra where people have bemoaned the difficulty of getting skilled labour, and we need to have a competitive tax system. So the top tax bracket cuts in at 180 grand, which is much lower than comparable jurisdictions like Singapore and Japan. So we need to be a competitive country because we need to attract foreign capital and foreign labour.